I believe the sight is one of the most important sensory perceptions, and it's one of those perceptions that if you lose, it's going to affect your independence, your work, and your own confidence and your self-building as well. My name's Sheng Chiong. I'm from Dunedin, New Zealand. I'm currently a junior eye doctor, and I work in the Dunedin Public Hospital. As an eye doctor, my mission is to treat treatable blindness. 80% of the blindness around the world are treatable if they are dealt with quick enough and with the appropriate tools and treatment. There's 285 million people around the world who are suffering from visual impairments. And out of the 285 million, 40 million of them are blind. And obviously in the developing nations, this accounts for 90% of the figures that we mentioned, which is a huge imbalance in this stage and age of the world. Conventionally, for an eye doctor, we usually use equipment such as slit lamp microscope. We also use fundus cameras to take photographs of the inside of the eye. These cameras are the expensive cameras that we have to pay $20,000 or $30,000 for one set of equipment. They are usually not portable, they are pretty bulky as well. So the tools that we've created essentially is a set of portable eye examination kit. The small adapters that we use to examine the front of the person's eye is 3D printed, and we use a small biconvex lens to magnify the images, so it gives us up to 10 times magnification. Once the entire device is assembled, we basically just have to clip it onto the front of the phone and turn on the camera apps that allows the user to examine the front of the eye. So the retinal examination is done with the retinal adapter, which we've used. That too is entirely 3D printed. All you need is an accessory, lenses, and some bolts and nuts. It takes about 10 minutes of assembling. It allows you to look into the person's retina. The entire functioning prototypes cost probably less than $50 for both the equipments. The time involved is about 4 hours to create the retinal imaging adapters and about 20 minutes to create an anterior segment adapter. The one way of making it accessible to the rest of the world is by making it open source. I believe by making it open source, it removes any barrier of patents and uptake as well, especially in places who are most in need. So essentially, you could have an entirely functioning eye examination kit in a matter of hours on a different side of the globe. With the Ultimaker 2 Plus, I believe there's a huge improvement in what I could achieve with what I'm doing. First of all, the usability has significantly improved with the change of the feeding mechanism. And secondly, I think the important thing relevant to what I'm doing is the print head, which allows us to change the type of print heads that we need to print my equipment. Because what I need in my equipment is that we need high accuracy printing small objects that we use for cameras, and that allows us to do it. I think the best satisfactions of what I'm doing is not any form of financial return in what I'm doing. It's like how you would volunteer to help someone out, and what did you get in return from that is when you see the person that you help thrives, or says a thank you, or even smile back at you. And that's what really gives me the motivation to keep working on.